Tesla owners were the most loyal customers in the car business. They evangelized the brand, defended it online, paid full price without blinking. Now a lot of them feel like fools. Their cars lost nearly half their value in 2 years. Their service slips for weeks with no dealer to turn to, only Tesla, and the badge that once meant status now gets the car keyed. Tesla's sales have fallen 2 years straight for the first time ever, not because people quit electric cars, but because they quit Tesla. So how did the most worshipped brand in the industry lose its believers, and why is nobody left to catch them? Make sure you subscribe, because I started this channel for one reason: to share what dealerships and car makers don't want you to hear. With your support, I can keep making these videos. Now let's get into it. Let me start with the number that has Tesla executives genuinely rattled, because it is the one thing the company spent its entire existence believing could never happen. Tesla's sales are falling. Not flat, not slowing, falling. 2 years in a row now, the first back-to-back decline in the company's history. The company that once could not build cars fast enough to meet demand delivered fewer cars in 2025 than it did the year before, and fewer that year than the year before that. And here is the part that matters most, the part Tesla is desperate to blur. This is not the electric vehicle market cooling off. Plenty of other electric cars are selling fine. This is Tesla specifically, losing buyers it used to own, because for the first time in its life it has real competition, an aging lineup, and a brand problem it created entirely on its own. When the company that defined the electric car starts shrinking while the market around it does not, that is not a rough patch. That is customers walking out the door. Put real numbers on it, because they tell the story better than any spin. Tesla hit its peak at around 1.8 million cars in a single year, and everyone assumed the only direction from there was up. Instead it slipped, and then it slipped again, down to roughly 1.64 million, a drop of nearly 10% in a single year. This is a company whose entire stock price, whose entire myth, was built on the promise of endless, unstoppable growth. 2 straight years of shrinking is not just a bad result, it is a crack in the foundation of the whole story Tesla tells about itself. And the leadership knows it, which is why every earnings call now leans harder on promises about robots and self-driving in the future, and away from the one number that used to be their proudest boast: how many cars they actually sold. When a growth company stops talking about its growth, listen to the silence. So let's start with the first thing driving those buyers away, and it is the one that hits current owners the hardest: the resale collapse. For years, part of the Tesla pitch was that these cars held their value, that you were buying into something special. That is over. Tesla values have cratered. These cars now lose something like half their worth in just a few years, and most of that drop is front-loaded into the very first stretch of ownership, so the loss hits you fast and hits you early. A Tesla owner in the Austin area who paid full sticker a couple of years ago, proud to be early, goes to trade it in now and discovers it is worth a fraction of what he paid, less than he still owes in a lot of cases. And here's the betrayal underneath it. Tesla itself caused much of this by slashing the prices of its new cars over and over. Every time Tesla cut the price of a new Model Y or Model 3 to chase a sale, it instantly gutted the value of every used one already out there, owned by the loyal customers who paid full price first. Those early believers did not just watch their cars depreciate. They watched the company they trusted take a hammer to their investment, deliberately, to move more metal. That is a strange way to treat the people who built your brand. And it is not one model, it is the whole lineup. The Model 3 holds less than half its value after 5 years now, and the Model Y, the best-selling one, the one in millions of driveways, is even worse, dragged down by oversupply and by Tesla's own constant price cuts. The bigger, pricier ones are the most brutal of all, with the Model S losing well over half of its value, in some cases most of it. Think about what that means for a real person. Picture a family in the Denver area that stretched their budget for a Model Y, told themselves it was an investment in the future, and now, only a few years in, it is worth less than a plain gas crossover that cost half as much new. The math that was supposed to make them feel smart now makes them feel taken, and every time Tesla announces another price cut or another discount to prop up sales, it drives that knife a little deeper into everyone who already owns one. The loyal customer is not just unprotected in that arrangement, he is the collateral damage. Now for the second force pushing buyers away, and this one is the most self-inflicted wound in modern automotive history: the brand damage. Tesla did not lose its shine because the cars suddenly got worse. It lost its shine because the brand became political, tangled up with its own chief executive in a way that turned a status symbol into a lightning rod. For a huge chunk of the buyers who made Tesla what it is, the badge went from something they were proud to park in the driveway to something they were suddenly embarrassed by, or even afraid to be seen in. Look at what happened in Europe, where it is the clearest. Tesla's sales there did not dip. They fell off a cliff month after month after month, dropping by half in some countries and by nearly 90% in others, until Volkswagen, of all companies, passed Tesla to become the top electric seller on the continent Tesla used to own. A former Tesla evangelist in suburban Seattle, the kind of guy who used to talk every friend into buying one, quietly traded his in because he could not stand the conversations the car started anymore. When your most passionate salespeople, your own owners, go quiet and start walking away, the damage has reached the core. And understand why this particular wound is so much worse for Tesla than it would be for anyone else. Every other car maker is a faceless corporation. If you dislike one of their executives, so what? You have never heard his name, and it has nothing to do with the truck in your driveway. Tesla is different. Tesla fused its entire identity to one man, so tightly that the car and the person became the same thing in the public mind. That was a superpower when he was the beloved genius of the future. It became a curse the moment he turned into one of the most polarizing figures on the planet. Now half the country has feelings about your car before they even see how it drives. And a lot of owners are tired of their vehicle making a statement they never intended to make. In Europe, the collapse has run more than a year straight, month after month of falling sales, dropping by more than half in some markets and by close to 90% in others. When buyers are that eager to get away from a brand, it is never really about the horsepower. It is about what the badge now says about them, and they have decided they do not want it saying that anymore. But before we get to the third problem, you need to understand something that makes both of the first two far worse, and it is the thing that separates Tesla from every other car maker on Earth. Tesla has no dealers. None. When you buy a Tesla, you buy it directly from Tesla, and when it breaks, you fix it through Tesla and only Tesla. There is no independent dealership across town, no competing service center, no third party who has to keep you happy to earn your business. For years, Tesla sold that as a feature, no haggling, no middleman. But now, with the company stumbling, that same setup has become a trap, because when the only company that can help you is overwhelmed, you have absolutely nowhere else to go. And nowhere is that clearer than the third problem, the service nightmare, which has gotten genuinely ugly. Tesla's service network was never built for the size of the fleet on the road now, and it is buckling. Owners report waiting weeks for appointments, waiting weeks more for parts, and being handed no firm dates for either. And the Cybertruck has turned that strain into a full crisis. A wave of these trucks has suffered failures in the part that lets them charge, and the failure has spread widely enough that service centers ran short of the replacement units, leaving owners stranded with trucks they cannot even charge at home. Tesla's response tells you everything. Rather than fix them quickly, the company started handing out free public charging to owners who could not charge at home, a band-aid on a wound it could not close fast enough. A Cybertruck owner in the Phoenix area has been through multiple service visits and is openly saying he has given up on the truck, and he is far from alone in those owner forums. Now picture that same scenario with a normal brand. If your truck kept failing, you could at least take it to a different dealer, get a second opinion, escalate to someone new. With Tesla, there is no different dealer. There is only Tesla, and if Tesla is buried, so are you. And sit with how bad the Cybertruck situation actually got, because it is the clearest warning of what the direct model does under strain. When that charging part failed across a wide swath of these trucks, the fix required a replacement unit that Tesla did not have enough of, so the repair simply could not happen on any reasonable timeline. Owners were left with a truck that cost as much as a house down payment and could not be charged at home. And Tesla's answer was not to rush the fix. It was to offer those owners free charging at public stations to tide them over, which is a polite way of admitting the company could not actually repair its own product fast enough to keep it running. Now imagine that same failure on a normal brand. You would be annoyed, but you would have a service department in the next town, an independent shop, a warranty claim you could escalate to a human being who wanted to keep your business. The Cybertruck owner in the Phoenix area has none of that. He has one phone number, one company, one overwhelmed system, and a truck sitting in his driveway that he cannot use, waiting on a part with no firm date. That is not bad luck. That is the direct model showing you its bill. And there is a fourth problem quietly feeding all the others, which is that the product itself stopped moving forward. For years, Tesla could get away with almost anything because its cars were simply years ahead of everyone else. That gap is gone. The core lineup has aged, the same basic cars refreshed and refreshed again, while the rest of the industry finally caught up and, in plenty of ways, passed them, with nicer interiors, better build quality, and features Tesla still does not offer. So the buyer who once had no real alternative now has a dozen of them, from companies with actual dealer networks, actual service, and none of the brand baggage. When the only reason people tolerated the downsides was that there was no better option, and suddenly there are better options everywhere. Tolerance runs out fast. and it is running out right now. Think about what Tesla buyers used to put up with, and why. They accepted panel gaps and rattles and cheap-feeling interiors because the car did something nothing else could. They accepted the service hassle because the technology was worth it. They accepted the lack of a dealer because the car rarely needed one and the software felt like magic. Every one of those trade-offs was a bargain the buyer made with himself, and the bargain only held as long as Tesla was clearly, obviously ahead. Now a shopper in the Seattle area can walk into a showroom for a Hyundai, a Kia, a Honda, a BMW, and get an electric car that is quieter, nicer inside, better built, backed by a real dealer network, and carrying none of the political baggage. The instant that became true, every one of those old trade-offs flipped from acceptable to insulting. Tesla did not just lose its lead, it lost the only excuse its buyers had for tolerating everything else. So here is the real story sitting underneath all of it, the thing Tesla built its whole empire on and never imagined could turn against it. Tesla's greatest strength was always its total control. It controlled the sale with no dealers. It controlled the service with no independent shops. It controlled the brand, wrapped tightly around one man, and it controlled a base of customers so loyal they would defend the company like it was family. And for a long time, that control was a superpower. But control cuts both ways. When you are the only one who sells the car, the only one who fixes the car, and the living symbol of the car, then every single problem lands directly on you, with no dealer to absorb the anger, no competitor to blame, no buffer of any kind. The resale crashed, and it was Tesla's price cuts that did it. The brand turned toxic, and it was Tesla's own leadership that poisoned it. The service collapsed, and there was no one else on earth a Tesla owner could turn to. The very thing that made Tesla unstoppable on the way up, owning everything, is exactly what leaves it so exposed on the way down. And the loyal customer, the true believer, is standing right in the middle of it, holding a depreciating car from a brand he is no longer proud of, waiting weeks for a service center that cannot get to him, with nowhere else to go, because Tesla made sure there was nowhere else to go. And that is who really pays for this, the believer. Not the executives, not the shareholders who cashed out at the top. It is the ordinary person who bought the story, who paid full price to be early, who told all his friends this was the future, and staked a little bit of his own reputation on it. He did everything a loyal customer is supposed to do, and his reward is a car worth half what he paid, a badge he is now sheepish about, and a repair he cannot get scheduled. There is a specific kind of sting in that, the sting of having believed the hardest and gotten burned the worst. He was not foolish for buying an electric car. He was foolish for assuming the company would stay loyal to him the way he stayed loyal to it. And it did not. It cut his car's value to chase new buyers, tied his purchase to a circus he never signed up for, and left him stranded when it broke. Loyalty was supposed to run both directions. It only ever ran one. So what do you actually do with all of this? Whether you own a Tesla, you are thinking about buying one, or you are eyeing a cheap used one. A few things. First, understand that with Tesla, you are betting on a single company for the sale, the service, the parts, and the software, all at once, with no backup. So when you weigh one, you are not just judging the car, you are judging whether that one company will take care of you, because no one else can. Second, if you are tempted by how cheap used Teslas have gotten, remember why they are cheap. The values are still falling, and the service can be a real ordeal, so a low price is not automatically a bargain. Third, if you own one, keep a close eye on your warranty and document every service issue in writing, because when problems pile up on a car, you can only fix in one place. That paper trail is your only leverage. And fourth, take the lesson that is bigger than any one brand. A company that controls everything can serve you beautifully when it is winning, and abandon you completely when it is not, and you will have nowhere else to go. You are not being disloyal by thinking this way. You are refusing to be more loyal to a company than it has ever been to you. Tesla is not going to admit any of this. It is going to keep pointing at the technology and the vision, while the sales keep sliding and the service keeps slipping. Subscribe, and I will keep showing you exactly what is really happening inside Tesla and across the whole electric car world before the next wave of owners finds out the hard way.